Genius Nation, what's going on? Welcome to the Daily Genius. I am Dr. Will, and as always, I am super excited that you are here, especially today. Today is episode number 50. Today is 50. We put 50 on the books, 50 straight days of showing up to add value. We put 50 of them on the book, and I'm so excited that you're a part of this journey. For those of you that are watching this outside of our Genius Nation family, when I talk about Genius Nation, I'm talking about the 1,000+ entrepreneurs, career professionals, individuals that are committed to becoming the best version of themselves in our private Facebook group. So if you have not become a part of Genius Nation, please, after this video, go over to Facebook and join Genius Nation. We would love for you to be a part of what we are building. Now, Genius Nation, we've been on this 365-day journey where I'm going to be showing up every single day. And we are exercising a principle of consistency. And so if you really want to create your best life, design your best life, you have to adopt a no matter what type of attitude, and in spite of type of attitude, if you're really going to create your best life, because you're going to have challenges, you're going to have obstacles, but you have to have an attitude of no matter what, in spite of. And so as we have landed on day number 50, as I look back over the last 50 days, we've had all types of things. We started this on December the 1st. And you know, December is what they dub holiday season. We've had Christmas, we've had New Year's, all that type of stuff. Like literally right now, I'm in the waiting for my daughter to deliver our first grandbaby, but I've made a commitment to show up. And so in spite of all of that, it's a commitment that I've committed to. So on today, I want to talk to you about how we are going to reverse engineer our success. I believe on one of the previous 49 videos, I've talked about one of my mentors, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Peter J. Daniels. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Daniels over 20 years ago. And what Dr. Daniels did for me was he helped me to think in centuries. When I worked with him and he coached me and mentored me, the program that I was a part of, it was called Destiny of the Third Millennium. And in this program, he taught us how to plan and think 200 years into the future, getting us to think 200 years into the future. And one of the things he taught us, and one of the reasons why he taught us this, because there's a scripture that says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, And so he got us to start to think in that perspective, that not only do you need to secure your future, what we call retirement, but he even taught us not to even use that word retirement, because you don't find the word retirement in the Bible. You only find phrases like, I have finished my work. You only find phrases like, it is complete. And so he got us to thinking that our job, our work here on the earth is not to retire, but it's to finish the job. It's to complete your assignment. And so if you follow me, you commonly hear me say things like dominate the decade, do the work. And where I get dominate the decade from is I like to think in decades, right? I have my summary of what 200 years looks like. I won't be here, but I'm setting the blueprint for my children's children, right? I'm setting the blueprint for my children's children. So I like to think in decades, and that's what I want you to be able to do. So I want you to think right now, how old would you be in 10 years? How old would you be in 10 years? I want you to think about that. How old will you be in 10 years? And I want you to get a good visual picture of how do you want to be living spiritually, physically, and financially in 10 years? What do you want life to look like for you? Physically, spiritually, financially. What do you want life to look like for you in 10 years? What do you want life to look like? And then we're going to reverse engineer. We're going to reverse engineer. But first, I need you to get a real good glimpse of how you see yourself. Get a visual picture of how you see yourself. And I want you to think about it. Like, what type of physical shape in 10 years, what type of physical shape will you be in? For me, I'll be 58. In 10 years, I'll be 58. So today I think about, man, do I want to be able to tie my shoestrings? Do I want to be able to bend over? Do I want to be flexible? Do I want to have mobility? I think about that today. How do I want to be when I'm 58? Getting ready to have my grandbaby. So she'll be 10. What type of activities do I want to be doing with her? I have a 13-year-old son. So within that, he'll be 23. What type of relationship do I want to have with him? Right? And so I think about these things. I want you to think about this financially. Where will you be in 10 years? Do you know a whole lot can be accomplished in 10 years? A whole lot can be accomplished in 10 years if you give yourself 10 years. See, I can't wait till I get 57 and start saying, wait a minute, oh, hold on. Let me get right physically. Let me get right financially. And so the longer you give yourself, the more time you have to implement the strategies that are going to allow you to accomplish all of that. So when we reverse engineer our success, what we do is we cast a vision. We cast a picture of 10 years into the future. What do I want to look like? Who do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish? How do I want to be living? Where do I want to be living? And so if you give yourself 10 years to accomplish it, I'm pretty sure you can. But it takes you reverse engineering, coming back today, making a commitment to that 10-year goal. We're going to make a commitment to that 10-year goal. For most of you, what you're going to have to do is what I call a season of selfishness. A season of selfishness. And when I'm working with my clients, for most of my clients, what a season of selfishness looks like is what we've then broken down to 1095, right? I call it 1095. 1095 is 365 days times 3 years gives you 1,095 days. So we have our 10-year vision, but then we break that 10-year vision down to our 1095. And I call this a season of selfishness. For 3 years, you got to get focused. You got to get dialed in. And I call it campaigning for your success. Campaigning for your success. When you tell your family, like if you think about a person who's running for an elected office, they go on the campaign trail and they have a message on the campaign trail. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm going for. If I get elected, this is what you can expect. That's how you have to think about your future. You have to say, I'm going on a campaign for my future. I want to get elected for my best life. And so when a person is running for an office, everything else pretty much shuts down. Their whole focus is on getting into office. So for 3 years, for most people, it takes about a 3-year journey to reorganize, to strategize, to implement, to become the person that you need to become to execute on this next 7-year plan to become your best self in 10 years. And so once you understand this, everything gets simple for you, because now you know what the goal is. Now you know what to say yes to, and now you know what to say no to. Because if it's not going to help you get elected to your best life, you say no. And a lot of you with good intention have supported a lot of other people, have been there for a lot of other people. But when in your life are you going to be there for yourself? See, if we're blessed, if we're fortunate, we get about 80 years on this planet. That's if we're fortunate. And we know of people who have not gotten 80 years. Think Prince got 50. Think Michael Jackson got 52. Bernie Mac got 50. Princess Diana got 36. Martin Luther King got 39. Elvis Presley got 36. And so we hear Nipsey, Tupac, Biggie, all got less than 30 years on this planet. And so even though we hope and we pray and we wish that we'll get to 80, it's not promised. So what does that mean? That means we don't have time to play. We don't have time to play around. We got to get dialed in. And this is a part of why I'm doing this, why I'm making the sacrifice to show up for 365 days, because I want you to win. I want you to win. I want you to have the tools that allow you to build and create the type of lifestyle that you want. And so here on day number 50 inside the nation, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. I want you to make a commitment to yourself. I know what can happen if you take you seriously. I know what can happen if you take you seriously. If you commit to your ultimate success, your life within the next 10 years will look completely different. And I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what obstacles you face. I don't care what problems you face. We're not going to allow those problems and situations imprison us. We're not going to allow it to create a prison for us. What we're going to do is allow it to create a platform for us to launch into our best life. I'm not going to allow you to allow a situation, a problem, imprison you and stop you from living your best life. We're not going to let something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I know each of you have had different challenges. You've had different problems. And we acknowledge that. And yeah, it was painful. And yeah, it hurt. And yeah, you was disappointed. But we're not going to allow a moment. We're not going to allow a moment in time to define the rest of your life. I want you in 10 years to be able to look back and see the champion that you are, and see the winner that you are, and see the person that you have become. I know for sure this is not something I wrote in a book. This is something I've lived. This is my lived experience. Your life can look dramatically different in a short amount of time, but it doesn't happen unless you commit. Unless you commit, it doesn't happen. Unless you say, no matter what, from this day forward, no matter what, I'm not getting distracted, no matter what. Unless you say, in spite of, unless you free yourself from all those limiting beliefs, unless you free yourself from all that negative chit chat in your brain, unless you free yourself. And that's why it's so important to come back so you can get your dose of inspiration, motivation, so you can stay on track, because there's going to be a lot of negative yak out there. But I want you to have such a strong sense of being, such a strong sense of who you are becoming over this next decade, that nobody can talk you out of it. that you brainwash yourself to really believe. Like where I am today is because I brainwashed myself. I brainwashed myself. You know, I've showed you guys this before, my list. I brainwashed myself. This is some of the things over 10 years ago that I've written down because this is what I wanted to accomplish. And I brainwashed myself that I was going to accomplish this. Write a bestseller. This was 20 years ago. That was my goal, write a bestseller. I've written over 40 of them. But my goal was just to write one. I've written over 40 of them. Speak at the White House. It's on my list. Guess what? I've spoken at the White House. Be on the cover of a magazine. I've been on the cover of 15 magazines. Earn $25K for speaking for 1 hour. I crushed that now. But that was my goal. That's what I committed to. And so I reverse engineered and I said, okay, who do you need to be for some company to pay you $25,000? What market perception do you have to have for someone to pay you $25,000? And that's what we're going to work on. Whatever your 10-year goal is, however you see yourself, we're going to reverse engineer. We're going to come back and we're going to say, okay, who do you need to be? Who do you need to become? What skills do you need to acquire so you can accomplish that? What moves need to be made? Right? For me, it was uprooting my family from Germany and moving to Phoenix, Arizona, a place that we had never been before, a place that we had never visited before, but we knew this was going to be our land of milk and honey. I knew if I wanted to accomplish much of what was on this paper that I had to move. I had to move from another country. And that's what I was willing to do. What are you willing to do to make your dreams come true? What are you willing to do to make your dreams come true? What sacrifice are you willing to make for your dreams to come true? That's what it comes down to. It comes down to nothing else except you committed to your dreams. And so that's the journey. As we journey, we have 300 plus more days together, but this is the journey, setting that blueprint, setting that foundation for you to become the very best version of yourself. So Genius Nation, I hope that you're ready because I'm super excited. I'm super excited. And so I want you to make a commitment to be a part of what's going on in this community, to show up, to participate in your success. I want you to participate in your success. And so when you see us offering things, when you see us asking you questions, when you see us on this side engaging, we're engaging for your benefit. We're engaging for your success. So when we ask you the questions in the group, we're not just asking you questions. We want to prompt your mind. We want to spark your imagination. And so I want you to make a commitment today to commit. And then this is what I want you to do. I want you to find one person. I want you to find one person that you want to go on this journey with. And I want you to invite them to Genius Nation. I want you to find one person that you want to go on this journey with. It's kind of going to be your accountability partner. Someone that you know wants to go to the next level as well. Someone that you know has a similar mindset as you. And I want you to invite them to become a part of Genius Nation so you guys can be getting the same information at the same time so you can challenge each other. Hey, this is what Dr. Will said we need to be doing. Are we doing it? Hey, this is what the group asked. Hey, I didn't see you today. This is what the question was in the group today. And I want you to get locked in because we're getting ready to dominate. So thank you so much for showing up 50 days straight. I'm excited. We're getting ready to take off. We've just been priming the pump for 50 days. We've just been priming the pump. That's all we've been doing. Now we're about to launch off. And I'm about to teach you guys some things and some strategies that's going to literally revolutionize your life. So once again, thank you. As we celebrate 50 days of the Daily Genius, I'm super excited that you're on this journey with me. I'm committed to you. I want you to be committed to yourself. All right, guys, go out there, have a magnificent day, and I'll talk to you later.